How's it going, everybody? It's time for some championship baseball as we've got the NLCS and ALCS coming up this week. Matter of fact, the ALCS between the Astros and the Tampa Bay Rays about to get underway in a couple hours. The Braves and Dodgers will get underway tomorrow. Um, Really, this has been an incredible playoff experience watching what the MLB has done. Um, just, I loved it. Expanding it to 16 teams, the best 2 out of 3 wild card round, then back to the original format with the division series, and now we're on to the league championship series. Um, One of the best times of the year. Little further down the road, I guess, but still, it's pro baseball. It's pennant time. Can't ask for much more. We've got the Braves, Dodgers. To me, being a Braves fan, uh, after last year's disappointment, getting eliminated by the Cardinals, and that just abysmal first inning collapse in Game 5. Really glad to get out of that division series and see if that Braves offense and this hopefully newfound pitching can get us going somewhere. But let's talk about the ALCS first and see what we can figure out. Um, Tampa Bay looking real good. They're the number 1 seed in the ALCS. The Astros kind of wearing the Cinderella slipper, even though they are the defending ALCS champs, winning the American League pennant last year and losing in 7 games to the Washington Nationals in the World Series. Um, then, amidst all the cheating scandal, they fire their manager, fire their GM. They bring in Dusty Baker, who I happen to have a lot of respect for. Just one of the great managers of all time. Uh, I know he's never really got a ring or anything like that, but still what he did with Barry Bonds in San Francisco, what he almost did with the Cubs, and he just seems like a real great man. Just always had a lot of respect for him. But he's really done a nice job, even though they had a losing record this year. But with everything they've gone through, for them to get in the playoffs with a losing record, and mind you, the only reason they weren't the 8th seed and didn't play the Rays in the first round is because they finished second in the Western Division behind the Oakland A's. If they hadn't, they might have played Tampa Bay in the first round, and we might not be getting this matchup. So the way the Major League Baseball set up this playoff bracket was beautiful because now I do think we've got a great matchup here. Um, Now I think the Houston Bats have came alive, just unbelievable in this playoff run, and let's take a look and see how these lineups are going. All right, I'll tell you what, before we get on to discussing, why don't we go back and look at how each team got here? So let's kick things off with the American League, and let's look at how the Astros got here. All right, so in the wild card round, the Houston Astros went up to Minnesota for a best 2 out of 3 series, and they would end up sweeping the Twins. They'd take Game 1 4-1, and they would take Game 2 3-1 to get the sweep over the Twins. That would be the Twins' 18th straight playoff loss. It's kind of hard to fathom a team losing 18 consecutive playoff games. My gosh. Hate to be a Minnesota sports fan right now. Highlights: Carlos Carrera had 1 home run, 1 RBI. Michael Brantley had 2 runs batted in. Kyle Tucker had 2 RBIs in the series. Framber Valdez, he had 5 innings pitched, 0 ERA, and 1 win. And Tampa Bay Rays being the number 1 seed, they would have the Toronto Blue Jays come to town, as the Jays were the number 8 seed. Toronto would take game 1 3-1, and they would take game 2 8-2 to get the 2-game sweep. And in that series, let's see here, Hunter Renfroe had 1 home run and 4 runs batted in. Manuel Margot, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and Mike Zunino had 1 home run. And the Rays would move on, and they would move on to take on the New York Yankees. And the Houston Astros would move on to take their division rival and the team that won the division, the Oakland Athletics. All right, and in the National League, you would have the number 2 seed Braves take on the Cincinnati Reds in Atlanta in a 2-game series. Game 1, you had Max Fried for Atlanta taking on Trevor Bauer for the Cincinnati Reds, and they had a pitcher's duel. Max Fried went all the way to about the 7th inning. Bauer made it, I think, to the 8th. Both of them got pulled. Both bullpens were excellent. Finally, in the bottom of the 13th inning, Freddie Freeman would drive in the game-winning RBI to give Atlanta a 1-0 win in Game 1. And in Game 2, Ronald Acuna Jr. Would hit a double to center field to give the Braves a 1-0 lead, and Ozuna and Adam Duvall would hit 2 2-run homers to give Atlanta a 5-0 win and a sweep over the Cincinnati Reds. And like I was saying, in that series, and also Ian Anderson had 6 innings pitched, his first ever career playoff start. No runs, I think, on 3 hits. He pitched 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. Just great day from the young man. And Adam Duvall had 1 home run and 2 RBIs, and so did Marcell Ozuna. All right, and the Dodgers, the number 1 seed in the National League and the number 1 best record overall in Major League Baseball, they would host the Milwaukee Brewers, and they would take Game 1 4-2, and then take Game 2 3-0. Clayton Kershaw in Game 1, he pitched Game 2. Was just absolutely phenomenal. 8 innings pitched, no runs on 3 hits, 13 strikeouts. Clayton Kershaw just back to his dominant Cy Young winning self. Mookie Betts also had a good series to help them get past the Milwaukee Brewers. And after the first round, every team moved to a bubble to keep the risk of beer flu contamination down. LA and Atlanta. LA would move to Arlington, Texas, and they would face the my goodness gracious, San Diego Padres. LA and San Diego would play in Arlington, Texas, in the Texas Rangers U ballpark, and the Atlanta Braves would face the Miami Marlins in the Houston Astros ballpark at Minute Maid Park. And then in the AL, you would have Tampa Bay and New York play in San Diego at Petco Park, and then Oakland and Houston would play in Dodger Stadium. So that's how things would set up for the division series. and let's see how those shaped up. And we'll stay over with the National League and the Dodgers, and they had a series with the Padres, and they had a 3-game sweep, just like they had a 2-game sweep in the wild card. The division series was not much of a challenge for the Dodgers either. They took care of the Padres pretty quickly. Only game 2, the Padres gave them a little bit of trouble. But game 1 was a 5-1 victory for the Dodgers, 6-5 in game 2, and game 3 the Dodgers won, running away with a 12-3 victory. Cody Bellinger had an awesome, pretty solid series. 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and Will Smith actually broke a record for catchers hits in a game. He recorded 5 hits in game 3. He also had 3 RBIs in the series. So the Dodgers would move on, and they'll get ready to take on the winner of the Atlanta and Miami series. And game 1 for Atlanta-Miami. Miami actually, Atlanta jumped off. Ronald Acuna hit a leadoff home run. Then Miami would pretty well jump out on Atlanta. Atlanta would fight back. Then Travis d'Arnaud would hit a 3-run bomb. And Atlanta never really looked back from that point. They dominated the series the rest of the way. They would win game 1 9-5. Game 2, another gem from Ian Anderson. And then game 3, 7-0 domination. And now you've got the Dodgers and the Braves and the NLCS. And from the division series, you had Travis d'Arnaud absolutely just killed the Marlins. 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. Dansby Swanson also had a killer series. He had 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. And Ian Anderson in 2 starts, he's 2-0. He still has not give up a run. 2 shutouts in his 2 starts. His first 2 career starts in the postseason. 2 shutouts. Not a bad way to get your career going. And of course, Acuna led off the series with a solo home run. So that sets up our National League Championship Series between the Braves and the Dodgers, and they will meet in Arlington, where the Texas Rangers played and where the Dodgers played the San Diego Padres. Alright, so you had the Astros and the Athletics in Los Angeles, and the Astros dominated their Western Division rival. You wouldn't have thought the Athletics won the division the way the Astros played in this series. They jumped out all over them in game 1, winning game 1 10-5. They won game 2 5-2. They let game 3 slip away as they lost 7-9, but they would not let a game 5 come about as they closed out the series in game 4 11-6. Moving on to the League Championship Series, where they are the defending champs, winning the AL pennant last year. Let's see. Carlos Carrera would hit 3 home runs, have 11 RBIs. Jose Altuve, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs in this series. So, just this awesome Astros lineup doing what they do, just creating chaos for a pitching staff, and they made the Oakland A's have nightmares and sent poor Billy Beane home without another shot at a ring. Still no World Series appearances for the Athletics. Alright, and last but not least, really the best series of the postseason so far, Tampa Bay versus the New York Yankees. the Yankees gave the Rays every bit they wanted and more, pushing this all the way to 5 games. Let's see here. The Yankees would jump out, take a 1-0 lead on the series, getting the 9-3 win in Game 1. Tampa Bay would win Game 2 and 3, taking Game 2 7-5, Game 3 8-4. The Yankees would stave off elimination, winning 5-1, and then in an absolute masterpiece, winning Game 5, Tampa Bay would punch their ticket to the championship series, winning 2-1 on a Brousseau home run in the bottom of the 8th, giving them a 2-1 lead, and they would hang on to punch their ticket. And tell you, that's one of the best baseball series I've seen in a while. Anytime you got the Yankees and the pinstripes, I mean, it would have been a lot better if it had been in New York, but hey, at least we've got baseball. And really, just the Major League has done so much better if you compare it to what the garbage the NBA is offering. I was a little worried with what the MLB did opening weekend. You had the ropes or whatever everybody was holding, and BLM all over the mounds. But I think Major League Baseball figured out real quick after they seen their ratings that people weren't going to watch. They're like, no, let's get that crap out of here. Because obviously, yes, Black Lives Matter, but we want to watch baseball. It's an escape, not just for white people, but for black people. Black people they love baseball too. White people love it. Hispanic people love it. All people love baseball. And it's escape for all people. I seen one thing on ESPN where they said, oh, well, we don't have time to quit being Republicans, or something, y'all get to take off being Republican. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And ESPN wonders why nobody wants to watch their programming anymore. Anyways, sorry about that. Just had to. But kudos to Major League Baseball for actually caring about the fan, unlike the selfish NBA, which is why their ratings are bombing, and why their commissioner just came out and admitted, oh yeah, well, we're not going to put any more social justice messages on our jerseys and on the court anymore. Well, it's too late. You can burn down a house in about 30 seconds, but it takes a hell of a lot longer to build one up. And sorry about that. As far as stats for the Rays, really the MVP of the division series for the Rays had to be Randy Arozarena. 3 home runs, 3 ribbies. Definitely helping power the Rays to the championship series versus the Astros. Alright, and now it's time to make some predictions. I'll start with the American League series. Looking at this, and as powerful as the Astros offense is, not to knock the Rays offense, but it's not as powerful as the Astros offense by no means. But Kevin Cash does have a very good pitching staff with Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Ryan Yarbrough, Charlie Mort. They have a pitching staff that can get them through this series. Now, it's a tough offense to get through, and Tampa Bay has an offense that might not be as good as Houston, but they can definitely stay with them if their pitching staff can limit the Astros' success. And I think it's going to be a long series. It's not going to be a sweep by any team. It's not going to be a 5. I see Tampa Bay getting this one in 7. The Astros have had a great story getting this far, but I think it comes to an end. I think Tampa Bay, I think this has been their year from the get-go. Last year they came up just short from getting to the championship series. And this is the year I think they finally get back to the World Series. They made it a few years ago, and Philadelphia ended up knocking them out, or taking them down in 5 games. And I think Tampa Bay will get back this year. They'll beat the Astros in 7 games, is my pick. Now on to the National League. This is real hard for me as a Braves fan because I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. The key for the Braves is, and I'm assuming that it's going to be Kershaw and Max Fried in Game 1. I haven't seen anything released yet on the pitching matchup. But let's look at these offenses between these two teams. You've got Will Smith, Max Muncy, Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts. Then you've got Ronald Acuna Jr., Freddie Freeman, Marcell Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud. I mean, the lineups, the batters. This could be one of the best offensive series baseball's seen in quite a long time. I do worry about the youth with the Braves starting rotation. Now, with the Braves bullpen, that's the key. I think if Anderson, Kyle Wright, if they can get Touki Toussaint, if they can get the Braves to the bullpen, the Braves can handle it. That's my big worry. But a lot of people have been picking the Dodgers simply because, it's their year. It's their year. Well, they said that last year. They said that the year before. And the year before that. And the year before that. Well, maybe it's just not the Dodgers' year, period. It was the Red Sox year for 84 years. I think this is a perfect mix for this Atlanta lineup. They've got the perfect mix of veteran and youth. I do think their pitching staff, now hey, they're going to get banged around a little bit. Nobody expects them to sweep the Dodgers, but I do think the Braves will win in 7 games. And I think we'll have the Atlanta Braves versus the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in the World Series in Arlington, Texas. And frankly, the way Kershaw has come up short in big games, Atlanta proved they can get to the Dodgers. If anything, I think last year in the series against the Cardinals, the Braves had already planned their ticket to play Los Angeles. And that's why St. Louis pounded them, because they didn't show up prepared to finish the Cardinals first. I think the Dodgers are going to come in kind of expecting walking on air. And a lot of people didn't even have the Braves beating Cincinnati. A lot of people didn't have the Braves beating the Marlins. So I encourage people to keep doubting the Atlanta Braves, because Mad Max Fried, Ian Anderson, and Kyle Wright, this team has potential. And if Mike Soroka was pitching, it wouldn't be a 7-game series. But I do think the Braves and Dodgers will go to 7. I think both of these series will go to 7. I have Tampa Bay and Atlanta meeting in the World Series. Oddly enough, both of them met to open the regular season. So you start where you began, or you end where you began. So that's my take on the championship series, and I'll be popping up with some videos, time in, giving my opinion on how the series is going. Uh, may be wrong. For all I know, I may be right. That's just my opinion. Y'all take care. Peace.